clear just 4 days after the shoddy display at Wembley, when the red-faced Roos took out their anger against the Sheffield Eagles, who conceded 14 tries as Australia amassed their biggest score on English soil for 73 years.
He's out of some flimsy tackling and Australia gets their first try. As I said earlier, if you've been to Bruce Stadium, you've seen something that looks like it as Pay gets it on for Florimo, and Florimo exerting his strength. And he just showed the Sheffield players that he will not take a backward step as it goes to Stewart. A couple of decoys, then Eddinghausen. Eddinghausen pulled down though. Good defence out there. That was Price, I believe, the centre, and now they kick across the ground looking for the bomb to pay a dividend. It has. Wishart gets it away. Florimo puts it over the line, and that is a try scored by Greg Florimo off the bomb of Ricky Stewart and Rod Wishart's effort. It must not be forgotten either. Fairley was on his outside. He had players on the inside. It's gone across now for Walters, and then with Stewart it is. Stewart gets away from one, runs to Farrell, pops the ball up high. Florimo doesn't muck about, gives it out to Eddinghausen. There's another one coming, this time for Timmy Brasher, and the Balmain boy goes in for a try. Tim Brasher's try, 16-2. The line dropout will see Australia go back and have another 6 opportunities. Rod Wishart is tackled. About 33 minutes of the first half gone, and 3 tries to the Australians as Lazarus mounts a platform for them to work off. On the second tackle on this set, Stewart across now for Kevin Walters, then for Fairley. Fairley dummies, then it goes inside for Mullins, and Mullins strides in to score. A mistake by Sheffield on the far side, the number 5, the winger Richard Pixley. The report on Paul McGregor is 2 or 3 weeks. Apparently it was a nasty hamstring tear. This is Wishart now, his Illawarra teammate, as they come across through Steve Walters and they pick up Jason Smith working on the right of the ground, and he's put away right in the centre now, 30 metres almost away from the line. A choice to go left or right. It's with Stewart on the right, and now Pay gets rid of one, strides for the line, and he gets a try. Well deserved at that. He set up plenty for his teammates around him, and Dean Pay takes the try for Australia. Here's a good break by Pay, set up for Jason Smith, and then chiming in Steve Walters. Sheffield refusing to put the Australians down. As Walters is 30 metres out. We'll come back to that question from Peter. It's with Stewart. He runs to the line, tries to turn it in, then goes out, and Menzies gives a short ball. Eddinghausen again with that beautiful touch. Houdini stuff again from Eddinghausen, like it was at Castleford from memory. This is Sheridan working across the ground, and Farrell, the captain, running into a brick wall of defence formed there by Lazarus and Menzies. They had a 1-week visit from Darryl Trindle, the excellent young South Sydney player. I don't know what happened there, but Darryl was here, I think, for a week and gone again. Across now from Farrell, it's with the full-back, and that is Brad Hayes. If it was as cold as this the night that Darryl was here, I can understand why he's gone back to Redfern. Sheridan's kick, down for Wishart. Wishart comes outside the 20-metre line, but there again is an exhibition of how slippery this ground is. It's quite grassy, and here's Mullins now through a gap. Eddinghausen's coming up on his outside. Oh, Mullins won't need anybody. He's run right around them, and Mullins with an 80-metre try, his second for the night. It's out to Ricky Stewart, who is out very wide. Farrell makes the tackle on Stewart. They come eye to eye, and now Florimo chimes in for another one of those strong runs, and then David Fairley, his North Sydney teammate, running off his left hip, and Fairley will play it 11 metres out from the line, and Australia looking very ominous again. Out to Stewart, and a long pass to Kevin Walters. They come up out wide, they go back in for Menzies, and Menzies scores at long last. Well, he's been threatening to score, Steve Menzies, but something has gone wrong, but not this time.
Dummy from Florimo looking for support in Fairley. He'll do it all himself now. Good tackle eventually, 2 metres out.
So Australia again brewing for their 9th try. Lazarus able to stand and throw it out the back. The bounce is favourable. It's across for Fairley. Fairley's through one. He might take it across. He doesn't. He's a metre out. But surely it must come now, and it does for Steve Walters. I think it's Steve Walters. We're only looking at legs, but it's him all right. And Steve Walters gets his 2nd try of the night. And still quite a heavy chunk of time remaining, something like 20 minutes. So it's anybody's guess what this total might finish at, as Fairley again gets involved and uses Jason Smith. They go out to the flank and find Steve Menzies. And I will say in favour of the loose forward for Sheffield, Farrell, their captain. As big as that scoreboard might read, he hasn't stopped trying in defence. They go across for Wendell Saylor. Now Brasher, he breaks into some space, comes to the fullback, runs around him, the support coming, it's E.T. and Ettinghausen goes in for his 7th try of the tour. 27 metres out from the Sheffield line. Steve Walters, that familiar run, coming away from dummy half. Tackle 5 has expired. Kevin Walters waiting a dummy half, giving it for Ricky Stewart. He kicks, looking for Brasher. The bounce, it's over the dead ball line. So back to the 20-metre point for the restart. Well, that was well rehearsed and thought out by Stewart and Brasher. We saw Stewart do it earlier, but there was no response from his teammates. That time there obviously had been some communication.
What about this magic pass here from Ricky Stewart? Holds it up in the end. Jason Smith runs on it. This will be a try to Menzies. There's been a mistake made by Sheffield, and Menzies over for his 2nd try. Well, where'd that come from?
It's all falling apart for the Eagles now. Two mistakes in their own territory, and Steve Menzies gets across for his 2nd try. Running towards the winger, Linton Stott. Gets the arm around the back, throws a pass to himself, and nobody in front for the last 5 metres. A very soft try.
Florimo away, an arc-like run to the grandstand side of the ground, and then eventually the troops come across, 3 of them in fact, and they interrupt the good time that Florimo was having. And here's Lazarus now, about 7 metres from halfway, the big fella. Really had a season checkered with injuries. Of course, that injury suffered in the State of Origin. Brasher out of a tackle, inside for Wishart, and Wishart's away. Wishart, he gets yet another try. 66 points to 2. And Steve Walters away from Randall, then gets a pass off for Lazarus. Lazarus straightens it up, gets out of one, tries to get out of another, succeeded, but has dived on 10 metres out from the line. Tackle number 5. Stewart now turns it back inside, and Kevin Walters, he'll get a try. So the name Walters goes on to the history card for the 3rd time. About 9 metres out from the line, Australia called on to defend on one of the rare occasions in the game. What's the referee going to rule here? Play on Australia.
And straight away Ricky Stewart has called for the football to pass out wide. The big dummy, and a ball to Ettinghausen with nobody in front. An 80-metre try to Ettinghausen. A vain attempt by the Sheffield player, Linton Stott, to foot it with the flyer. Beautiful work from Stewart to get in a position to set up his wingman.
Ettinghausen's 3rd try of the game, his 8th for the tour. Bradley Clyde and Laurie Daly surveying the situation from the players' tunnel. Guarded and rugged up against the cold. This was Stewart getting in behind the defence, and then Ettinghausen. And have a look at this for a sight in rugby league from head on. Something that the promoters use in advertisements about the game. Ettinghausen and Mullins in full cry. They're a treat to watch, aren't they?
Rugby league has always struggled to gain acceptance in the Union Mad nation of Wales. However, the recent success of